So there's been a lot of people that have played Big Brother, and we've had our fair share of winners. Naturally, I mean, we played 22 seasons, so there's lots of people who have come really close, lots of people who have gotten the job done, but there are some people that I don't know about you, I don't think necessarily deserved to win.
Mm.
There's a lot of people I think were really overrated in the way they played their games and how they got to the final two. So our question of the day is, who is the most overrated Big Brother winner in US history?
So it's funny as soon as you brought this question up to me, I had like three or four thoughts, fill my head with who I thought was overrated. And the difficulty here is, you got to look at all 22. And some people, they won because that's just how the game went. And I wouldn't even say it's a sense of they didn't deserve it, but it's a sense of like
Yeah,
the rest of the field just wasn't that great. So it's hard to call them great. But
right.
then there are players who are considered great. And then there are certain players who I can't stomach that won this game and didn't deserve it. So here we are. Here's my most overrated winner of all time, and her name is Nicole Franzel. Listen. I didn't want
Oh,
I didn't want to go, just off here on a tangent. I didn't want to do this. I didn't because I feel like this is kind of like the hot topic pick. I do. I do. I think that's kind of like a common thing for people. Either people love her or hate her.
hmm
If you've listened to any of our episodes, you know exactly where I stand on that. But it's not even a case of me disliking her as a person that I think she's an overrated winner. I just think she did nothing until the very end. And listen, that season that she won, I am definitely forgetting the number 18. 18, the season that she won, she did not deserve to win that season. It should have been Paul. Paul played the best game that year. He got to the end. She got there, and I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. She, in every single one of her seasons, has been carried. She has been carried until the last couple weeks where she's like, oh, I can play because there's less people, or oh, I got lucky. Like, I just don't think she's a good player. I don't. I don't think she's a good
That's
player. I think
fair. I
she's
mean, you know I'm with you on that. I know we're going to have tons of people who are going to disagree, but like I'm with you on that. Like you make a fair assessment. Like I think she learned from the way she played in Big Brother 16 that she played too hard too early in her mind. And I mean, I guess the way she goes, yes, it is a legitimate strategy to sit back and wait and let people kind of go at each other, but personally as a Big Brother fan, that's not the kind of game I want to watch, and that's not the kind of person that I'm going to hold up like to a high regard when we're talking about winners, because the
right.
people that I'm talking about as legitimate winners, we're talking about those Will Kirbys, we're talking about those Dan Gieslings, we're talking about the evil dicks that
Yeah.
raised hell and still managed to get to the end. Like,
And
I'm sorry, but like it's fine, it's fine that she gets to the end and wins because she didn't really bust people's balls, because that's kind of jury management and what you kind of have to do nowadays. But I give more respect to the people who aren't like that and who
yeah,
are more feisty during the game and can
and
still get there.
like my biggest problem isn't that, the way she got there. It's more so the way she's hyped up as like one of these best players of all time. She's
Agreed.
not, people. She's in the same realm as the uh you know Hayden Mosses of the world. That's the
Yeah.
realm she's in. She's not in the realm of the Will Curb. She doesn't even come close to that.
Yeah,
There was a
absolutely.
running joke this All-Star season, which she was on, that you looked at her and you looked at Janelle. One of them was a world-class Big Brother player. The other one is Nicole. To
I mean,
me,
it's fair. It's fair.
people overrate her, and I think she kind of overrates herself. She says
hmm
things that are like ridiculous. Like she came onto the season, she's like, "I'm gonna prove to people that I was worthy of winning, and I'm gonna win for the first time ever twice." And I was like,
I wish
"Listen,
she hadn't opened like that. I really
the
wish.
fact that you have to say that means it bothers you, and you're not nearly as good as the others." So
Even if it
that's
was
my
scripted, that's something that it's an
right.
issue that you have to address it, that people so many people think that you didn't deserve it because like it's hard to argue that she did. I mean,
Right.
I do get why people argue it. Like I've said before, that strategy of laying back and not ruffling people's feathers and being friends. I get that's a strategy. As a Big Brother fan, as I've said before, and I'm sure you feel that's not what we're looking for in this game. It's
Right.
really not
So
what we're looking for.
so
There
that's
isn't a
my
winner.
so that's my overall thoughts on who's the most overrated winner. I'd love to hear who you're thinking because I kind of have an idea of who it could be.
Oh, I think you know. I mean, I was really close on picking Nicole. The reason
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pick it was halfway because I knew
Mm-hmm.
it was the biggest direction you were going to go in. We also, I think we should both mention that Andy from Big Brother 15 is an honorable mention for us. That we both were
Mm-hmm.
like,
Well, to be fair to him, his season just sucked. So
that is where
like,
I was going to say where
I
it's
don't
like,
think he earned the win. I think he just happened to be the lesser scum
well, I
of.
think he earned it in being the lesser of the scum, and
I
that's
guess,
kind
but
of
he ended up still being scum. So it's a really difficult conversation to have there. But you know what?
yeah.
I'll let you.
Yeah. So mine is actually only one season later, and I'm probably gonna ruffle some challenge fans' feathers with this one. It is Josh Martinez.
Do people really
Absolutely
like him?
no way. Yeah. I mean, I think part of it comes from. I think part of it from both of our winners that we call overrated, as I'm just thinking about it now, is really because of the hatred that people had for Paul. Like
Mm,
Paul was really polarizing in a way that Evil Dick was, like where people either really loved him or really hated him, and there was no middle ground. It wasn't like, oh, Paul's cool, I guess. Like
right.
he's somebody I guess I could get behind. It's either, oh yeah, I love Paul, or oh god, I hate Paul. I actually, one of our friends from Nesson, she has a fiance who got mistaken for Paul at a beach. And I was like, how did that go? Because I didn't know what the reaction would be, if it would be like, oh my God, Paul, or oh my God, Paul. That's part of why I think Josh won this season, because it was, for a reminder for people, this was Paul's second season. And as obnoxious as he was the first season, he was doubly as obnoxious in the second season. And to the point, I actually wanted Josh to win. And I'm not going to say that I didn't want Josh to win, because I thought Paul's bullying tactics really were unacceptable this season. I understand where things get feisty in Big Brother, and sometimes people lie, and sometimes buttons get pushed. But I thought he pushed it way too far. And that's why when it came down to those two as the final two, I wasn't mad that Josh won. Having said that, you have to look at the caliber of players that win this game and play this game. And I'm just saying, I mean, possibly Josh's biggest thing is him taking those pots and pans and going, bop, bop, ba-da-da-da-da, and just riling up the house just like Evil Dick did. That's
Mm,
probably one of his biggest moments in the house, unless you can remember something else that I can't remember. That's where it's like he doesn't play a memorable game. He didn't really have like any strong gameplay besides just being loyal, which I guess to some degree is a good strategy. But he's carried it into the challenge, like the same exact strategy of just pushing people's buttons and not caring. And I think he's learning that doesn't really always work the way it did when he won Big Brother. And I think he should kind of hopefully he can reflect on it, and hopefully his fans really can reflect on the fact that he won because people didn't want to reward a bully.
right.
And it's not, I just think that you have to put that in perspective when you consider him as a winner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his season cast right now, and I'm trying to think like the big storylines of that season. And I think that's really where Josh kind of just fell in like who's the lesser of two,
Mm-hmm.
essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Uh cuz you had Cody who was trying to get Paul out from beginning to end,
Oh, I
which
hated Cody.
which
Hated him
while
so
people
much.
hated
So,
Cody,
a lot of people loved him. I
it
hated
was either like it was very 50-50 when it came to
Meemaw.
Cody.
Meemaw
And
who.
the reason that I think Josh is an overrated winner is again, like you said, comes with that bullying of Paul. It was just a sense of like, oh, you're our only other choice. Here you go. Like that's how that went. So I'm with you there. I think we really nailed the two. I think there's a few other overrated winners, but those are definitely like up there because some people like to act like these two are like among the elite, and it's really the fans who didn't
Yeah.
see the first 14 seasons. We're not
Really
counting
though, like
15.
that's what kind of bugs me. I think we've talked about it a little as we don't want to sound like we're like Big Brother elitists, but I think newer fans that haven't been able like or exposed to any
Right.
of those older seasons, they don't know what kind of
Ooh.
gameplay, what kind of strategy that they've missed out on, and how it's really morphed into this lackadaisical sense of the game. Really, like it's really like it's very. I mean, back when I first started following the feeds, there were times where I was like, "Ooh, I can't wait to see this nomination ceremony," because I
Yeah.
feel like I didn't know what was coming. Now I'm watching the feeds and I'm
Right.
like, "All right, so he's gonna put up this person and this person. If he doesn't put that person, those people up, I'll be shocked." And then I'm never surprised because it's so obvious going into almost every nomination, every veto, because nobody wants to shake it up like they really
Which is
did
just
back in
such
the
a
day.
shame.
It really is. That's why it's like
It's just
there's
such
and
a shame.
it's really no trash on production because I think production can only do so much with trying to cast people that want to play the game. It just winds it because I think
Yeah.
Swaggy's a good example of that. And then like I don't want to get too off topic, but I think Swaggy's a good example because he came in. I thought he was going to be strong because he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna like be really slick like
Me
Dr.
too.
Will and blah blah blah." And then he threw that out the window the second he walked in the house, and it was like, "Oh, honey, why did you do that
Yeah, I thought
for?
Swaggy could have been like a
Why?"
really, really good player.
I think
But
he's a good second chancer, but that's for a different conversation.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, we'll get to many conversations of who should be second chance type people, who should, just come back again overall. But I do think we hit it on the point. And really, like you said, we're not trying to be the like elitist Big Brother fans, but you
No,
have to see those first 14 seasons. You don't have to
or
see
at least
15, I
some of them. You
promise.
don't even have to watch all of them. Just
Just watch
some
the
of the big
important
ones.
stuff. Yeah, like you don't have to watch season 1.
I mean, please watch
Uh
all of them. By all means, please watch all of
no,
them.
don't watch season 1. There's like 70 episodes. No one has that time.
Oh,
I
but you get
just
Chicken George.
Okay, just watch All Stars for that. You get the full
That's fair.
Chicken
That's fair.
George experience in that. But seriously, I think we nailed it on the head. And it's not a shot at the new type of player. It's just I feel like
No,
a lot of people don't get who the great ones are.
and they don't get the history of the strategy.
Right.
It's just
Right.
it's evolved, and they're like, "Oh, this is the strategy that's
Yeah.
here," and it's like, do you know where it came from?
Right.
Because it's not
Exactly.
like it just appeared. Like,
Right. It's I think that's a thing with like anything you watch though. Uh,
very
if you
fair.
watch a sport or a game of any style, you see things that come from before and they morph over time. Like we're watching season 10 as we speak. And
Such a good season.
I think you see the style of a Will Kirby morph
I
into
so
what
agree.
Dan does. And like he makes it his own style. So that's really why I think you should watch that. But this is a whole different conversation we're breaking off into. So we should
Absolutely.
probably stop just, talking about this and move on. But